about how to ensure you succeed in your property investing. Now, I'm sure that some of the stuff I'm going to tell you, you will have heard before, but please take the time to listen because it's so important. The people you put around you lead directly to the results you get. Okay? I'll tell you a little story. A few weeks ago, my son Oscar, who's about 5 months old, really got quite poorly. And I got that phone call from my wife that you dread. She'd taken Oscar to the doctors. He'd been struggling with his breathing. We thought it was just a cold. And I got the phone call saying, "You've got to come now. We're going to the hospital. You need to come right now." And you absolutely dread that kind of a call. So I drop everything. I'm in the car. I'm dashing to the hospital, and you're panicking. You're worried. You're not sure what's going to happen. And we get to the hospital, and we walk into A&E as we've been told to do. And the receptionist says, "Can see he's poorly. It's going to take 3.5 hours. There's a queue for 3.5 hours to be able to see somebody." And in that moment, you're kind of exasperated. You don't know what to do. You're really worried. Your main concern is worry for your son. Now, within 15 minutes, because they could see he was bad, they got us in front of a nurse. And immediately the nurse goes to get somebody else and brings the senior nurse in. And then immediately the two nurses get up and say, "Follow us," and take us through to another room. Now at this point, we're just pleased that we're being looked after. We know he's struggling with his breathing, but we don't realise the seriousness quite yet. So we're worried, but we don't realise the seriousness. So we're taken into this other room. He gets to sit on a bed. There's other beds in there and screens. And the doctor that we were going to have to wait for 3.5 hours to arrive turns up and starts looking after Oscar. Now, we're trying to talk to the doctor about a rash and some other things and things like this, and he's focused on the breathing. He's focused on the fact that he's struggling to breathe. And people keep interrupting him to clarify what medicine they want him to, he wants them to get and what exactly they want him to do. And this is just, distracting us from saying about the rash and stuff. It's only when the doctor says, "Do you see those 4 people stood right there? They're just about 10 yards away." And we go, yeah, we see them. We're very worried about Oscar's breathing. He's struggling to breathe. And those people are there in case his pipe blocks up and he stops breathing. They're there to make sure we bring him back around. And you look over and you see 4 of the most senior people in the hospital at that point. There's 2 really senior doctors. There's a very senior nurse. These are experts in their field. They know exactly how to resuscitate a patient who stops breathing. And you look back at your 5-month-old son in your wife's arms on the bed, and you realise how blessed you are to have the right experts in the room should you need them. Now, Oscar actually was put on steroids, and an hour later, steroids to clear the throat, the infection, an hour later, he's doing loads better. And 4 hours later, he's actually doing pretty well fine again. Okay? And he had a common thing, something called croup. So you may have had children with croup. He had a severe case of it, but it's quite common. But the point I'm making is, when your 5-month-old son is ill, critically, feels to you critically ill, who would you want in the team? Who would you want in your team in that moment? And I wanted the A team there. And we had the A team there. We were very blessed to live in the UK and have that team in place. So what are you doing in property? Who's your A team? This is money that you've worked really hard to save, or you've maybe inherited. You've worked really hard to get it together, and you're going to take some risk. You're going to step forward, and you want to be able to step forward with confidence and know that you'll be successful with your investing. Who's your A team? Who are the people that you can turn around and 10 yards away, there they are, and you know, whoa, phew, this is going to be absolutely fine because I've got the team behind me. Now, your A team needs to include your mortgage broker, your letting agent, your accountant, your financial advisor. They need to understand property and support it, not try and sell you other stuff. Your property sourcer, who's going to find these outstanding properties for you. Your tradespeople, 17 key tradespeople you should have in place. when you're investing. Your handy person, who's the first person you send out every time because they know the property so well, and they can save you plumber's fees because they can just fix the washer in the tap. How are you going to get these people in place? And are the people you've got now absolute A-team? And they're the people you'd want there when it's critical and it's on life support. So I'm going to teach you now the 9 key questions to ask anybody who wants to be in that team, or anybody you're considering adding to that team. And I can guarantee you that if you put these players in place, you will get outstanding results from your investing. And I can always guarantee you that if you don't take notice of this and you have people in place that are 2 or 3 out of 10 at this, if they can't meet these questions that I'm going to go through, do not be surprised when the results you get are not what you hoped for. Because people who end up quitting after 1 or 2 properties, or only get to 2 or 3 properties because it gets too busy and too difficult and too stressful, it's because they don't have the right team in place. So here's the 9 key questions, and be diligent with them, be belligerent with them, and always ask them of whoever you're going to work with. So the first question is, are they in property themselves? If I'm going to work with a letting agent, I want to know the owner of that letting agency has got a load of property themselves, because they'll care more about knowing and staying up to date with the rules and regulations. If I'm going to work with an accountant, I want them to be in property themselves. Same with a financial advisor. Same with a property sourcer. Are you in property yourself? Question 2. Is your experience in the same area that I want to invest in? So if I'm investing in houses of multiple occupation, do you have some houses of multiple occupation, Mr. Letting Agent? Mr. Mortgage Broker, do you have some houses of multiple occupation? No. Right, let's pass then. I'll go to another mortgage broker. It needs to be experienced in the exact same properties that you're investing in. Can they give you a stack of testimonials? Here are 15 clients. You can choose 2 or 3. I'll put you in contact with them. When you've spoken to them, I'll give you another list of 15. You can choose 2 or 3 of them. I'll put you in contact with them, and they'll all say great things about me. Yeah? Most people, if they even bother to check testimonials, ask for 1 or 2. That can be my best friends I put you in touch with. They need to, as a business, have copious amounts of people who are happy for you to call, and they will say they're doing a great job. Now, we're very reserved in the UK. But can you ask to see their accounts, their books? You want to see last year's books for the business, and the years before, and the years before. And the reason you're asking to see those books is to check that they're a successful business. Not so you can say, oh no, they're making too much money, I don't want to work with them. You want to work with people who are successful. You want to work with people that are making good money in property, because they'll be here long term. They'll be here in 10 or 15 years' time. By the way, I use these same questions with tradespeople. Now, when I ask if they're in property, I don't ask that they own property, but I want them to be a specialist in buy-to-let. You know, it's a totally different electrician who comes to my own property than goes to my investment properties. Now, why is that? Because the one at my own property will do certain things to maintain the value of that house. They'll run the leads in different ways, they'll do different things. Sometimes in my investment properties, a piece of trunking can go in. And that might save £100 that I would spend in my own house for the tidiness. It's still great for the tenant, it's not an issue, but that electrician would be different. If I sent the electrician who works in my house all the time, I'd spend too much in my investment properties. If I brought the one from my investment properties, it wouldn't be a high enough standard for my properties. I'm not saying have shoddy houses, by the way, but I'm saying I live at a different standard to that some of my tenants expect. There's nothing wrong with that, but I need to use the right people. So if you're looking for people in property, tradespeople, they need to specialise in buy-to-lets, spend their time and have experience of looking after buy-to-lets mainly. We want to see their accounts. We want to check they're successful and that they're making money at what they do. If you get a tradesperson who's making everything cash in hand, you don't know if they're going to be here in 5 years. So they might do a bad job, disappear, and now you've got it to clean up after. But if you know they make good money every year, they're going to be around 10, 15 years. If there's a problem, they'll come back and they'll fix it. Do these people have a set of rules that they follow? And are you like them? Do you like them? And are you like them in terms of your rules and your strategies and your ways of doing things? You know, your intuition very quickly tells you if you'll get on with somebody or not. Follow that intuition, follow that gut. Don't be lazy and go, oh, but they're here, so I'll use them anyway. Move on and find the one that you connect with, that you resonate with. Number 6, are they willing to educate you? You know, if they're great at what they do, a great letting agent, a great property sourcer, a great mortgage broker, they'll not only do a great job for you, but they'll be getting educated themselves all the time in property. So they will be busy getting educated and busy learning new things themselves that they then teach back to you. And they'll also have a network of people that they learn from that they can also introduce you to. So you can also learn from that network. It will triple, quadruple your speed of learning, double your speed of getting to financial freedom through property if you get around somebody who can introduce you and can educate you really, really well as doing their core job for you. It's really critical. So if they can't educate you, by the way, if they fail on any of these checks, I don't work with them. Because I want a team in there. I want people who will jump in and absolutely show me where to go and which path to follow. People who've trodden the path before, that have created financial freedom through property and can show me exactly how to do it. Will they work personally with you? So will they bespoke their service? Will they make sure they listen to you with 2 ears, listen to what you're saying, and then bespoke and make sure that what they've got works for you? And if it doesn't work for you, will they send you to the best place that is right for you? Are their fees transparent? I don't mind paying a lot of fees. You know, I don't mind if my accountant wants to charge me $10,000 a year. If he's going to save me $20,000 a year, that's fine. But the fees need to be totally transparent and clear. And is there a written agreement? You know, I've lost count of the amount of times people have said to me, oh, tradespeople, you know, they did some work for me and I wasn't happy with the work. And then I'll say to them always, what was the quote you got? How did you get it? What do you mean? Well, how did they send you the quote? They emailed me. Okay, how many lines was it? 2 or 3 lines. This might be a quote for £2,000 worth of work, and they've got a quote that's on 2 or 3 or 4 lines, or a text quote. And then the tradesperson and the individual wonder why they've got a different view of what's to be done. Because no one's taken the time to get the absolute clarity at the beginning of the project and get it written down of exactly what's to be done for that money. Now, if you don't take that time and get that absolute clarity, it's no surprise there's a difference of opinion at the end. It doesn't actually mean the tradesperson's not done what they said they'd do. In their head, they might have done exactly what they thought they were going to do. It just wasn't clear at the beginning. The effort wasn't put in at the beginning. So I won't work with tradespeople unless they'll make it really clear and lay it out really clearly so that me and them are on exactly the same page. But that's the same with a letting agent. It's the same with a property source, the same with an accountant. You know, what exactly are you going to give me in your service? What exactly am I going to pay in return for that service? So ask these 9 key questions and you will ensure that you always work with the best people, that you've got the A team in your corner and you don't need to be in that scary situation anymore. Because if they're all batting higher than you and they're all better than you, they'll take you up to their level and they'll take you up to their financial results. So take the time on this, take the time to make sure you find the right people, invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom.
Hi guys, it's Aaron here. Did you enjoy this week's video? If so, there are 3 things you can do to continue your property investing journey. The first is you can click here and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really hope you do, because then each week I can keep sending you great educational videos just like this one so you can keep developing your property knowledge. Secondly, you can click the link here and get a free copy of my book, The Property Coach, where I teach the 9 steps to really truly successfully building a property portfolio. The third thing you can do is click here and go to my website, www.arancurry.co.uk, and there you can subscribe for free to my newsletter. And what that means is you'll get loads of free educational content in lots of different forms, and also any of our promotions or offers that we run are also there on the website and also in those e-newsletters. Again, helping you move forward with your property investing journey. So if you want to take action, just click any of these 3 boxes or all 3 and move forward to the next level. And in the meantime, invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom. Thank you.